bitch, you always on my line with on game. You ain't never got a dime to get a liquor store, the D-boy and designer, the glory. Then you hit my line and all I ever get is the story. But you know that I'm some pimpin' for sure. Pimpin' say yo, dig me, but you ain't tryna hoe, ain't tryna hoe. Institute, my institute is totally different. Bitch, you totally a bum and I'm just totally hip. Gave a couple niggas money, I need my moment though. You gave a lot of niggas honey, bitch, I need some homie though. You need to give a pimp the money. Give me my moment, ho. Charge them suckers for the honey. I just need some homie. You weak bitches, y'all so broken, y'all just broken. You don't never ever hope on the track all day, but whack all day is truly no mashing. You ain't trying to run a checkup, you just do it for fashion. Man, I love it when the bitch is a hoe. She don't ever choose the cloud, she ain't trusting no disgusting trick, she track with precision. You won't catch her with no boyfriend, she attracted to hit. Gave a couple niggas money, I need my moment though. You gave a lot of niggas honey, bitch, I need some homie though. You need to give him the money, give me my moment, ho.
Go ahead, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain, man. Hit that like button.
Up pimp line with up pimp line with I got hoes that pay me for my time, so how do I look? If you ain't paying pimpin', bitch, pay attention to the hood. You gave a couple niggas money, I need my moment though. You gave a lot of niggas honey, bitch, I need some homie though. You need to give a pimp the money, give me my moment, ho. Charge them suckers for the honey, I just need some homie though. You gave a couple niggas money, I need my moment though. You gave a lot of niggas honey, bitch, I need some homie though. You need to give a pimp the money, give me my moment, ho. Charge them suckers for the honey, I just need some homie. How my pimpin' is set up, I don't know how to let up. I go hard on the bitch and make her face the pressure head up. If she greater or lesser, that pressure gon' test her and see. And if it's destined, then that's gon' bring out the best of her, see? You see?
Go ahead, wipe your feet off at the door, man. Hit that like button. Yes. Welcome to the House of Heavy Game. Y'all already know to get down over here, man. Wipe your feet off at the door. Stepping into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. One time for the one time, please and thank you. Just trying to get something in order right quick before we get started. Chopping this good game once again. It does not stop. The game will continue to be popped. Okay. Now. Okay. All right now, man. Welcome to the House of Heavy Game. Freeze and zip, man. Y'all already know the first order of business around here. We got to put some love in our life, man. Yeah. Got to keep this game pure in pimp fashion, though. Cheers to the game. Happiness, health, and wealth to everyone in attendance and your loved ones as well. Yeah, let your cup runneth over with the game this evening. Everybody in the gang. It's a real monkey see, monkey do type of world that we live in right now. It ain't just with the game. Everything is monkey see, monkey do. Everybody is like a bunch of zombies nowadays, man. Everybody kind of like go with whatever wave is the most popular wave. That's the wave that everybody goes with, man. And whatever cliche is popular to say, that's the cliche that everybody goes with. And one of the most worn out terms in the game right now that I get tired of hearing, especially because I know the majority of people that's using this term is using it out of context, and that's elevation. Man, I get so tired of everybody talking about elevation this, elevation that. And again, like I said, they're using it out of context, man. Elevation is just a word that sounds good to a lot of people, but they don't really consider what it means to elevate. They don't consider what elevation entails. They don't consider what it takes to elevate, what it means to elevate, any of that. They just like saying the word elevate. You dig? And the cold part about it, a lot of people's idea of elevation only consists of having more money than the average individual. Like, that's what they really think elevation is, especially when it comes to this game, when it comes to the lifestyle of pimping and hoeing. A lot of people in the game think that elevation is just you got more money than the next individual. You can afford a certain lifestyle that the average individual can't afford. That's elevation. Hey, but let me tell you though, man, it's a lot of lame motherfuckers with elevation. If all it takes is money to elevate, it's a lot of lame individuals with money, elevation. It's a lot of suckers with elevation. It's a lot of scumbags, elevation. It's a lot of twisted and sick individuals with elevation, right? And the cold part about it, when it comes to the game, like I said, people's idea of elevation is just having more money than the average individual. But once you get more money than the average individual, then where are you elevating from there? Because there's still a whole lot further to go. It's still a whole lot more to accomplish. It's still a whole lot more to do once you have more money than the average individual in the game. As the old saying goes, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That's pretty much how it is in the game. The land of the blind is everybody in the game. And the few motherfuckers that have more money than the majority of motherfuckers are the one-eyed man. So that one-eyed man is seen as a king in the land of the blind. But it's like, what about a motherfucker with two eyes? What about the motherfucker with the one eye, gaining vision in his other eye? Because in terms of elevation, it's very doable. The motherfuckers that's blind in the game, they very well can gain vision in both of their eyes. But they just ain't figured it out yet. But the motherfucker who done figured out how to gain vision in the one eye, they the ones with the elevation in the game, because they got one eye over the motherfuckers that don't have an eye. They got a little bit more money than the majority of motherfuckers in the game. But what about seeing out of both eyes? You dig? And then doing some powerful shit once you can see out of both eyes. Then once you can see out of both eyes, what about going amongst the motherfuckers that don't have vision and saying, hey man, all you gotta do is X, Y, Z, man. You know what I mean? Do you really want to see though? You really want to have your vision? Come fuck with me, man. I'm gonna show you how to get some vision around this motherfucker. I'm gonna show you how to see out of both eyes, man. And then once you can see out of both eyes and you start seeing all the big shit available to you to do and have and be, then you're gonna start doing something once you see with both of them eyes, man. That's what elevation is. You dig? Elevation ain't just getting a few dollars and you live in a house that you don't own that can easily be taken from you like that. And it's a house that most motherfuckers in the game can't afford, but you can lose that shit like that. You know, having a car that you breaking your neck to pay for that you can lose like that. Having all of your bitches in cars that they breaking their neck to pay for that they could lose like that. You know what I mean? Having some decent credit and all that type of shit. You know, that's cool. But there's a whole lot more to reach for than just that. Right? So, if this is people's idea of elevation, and it's really not elevation, then what needs to take place then, man? We need some evolution in the game. You know? Because really and truly, if you just real good at taking care of yourself, that's not elevation. Because that's really all that means. If you live in a better house than most people in the game, if you drive a better car than most people in the game, if you wear more expensive clothes and have more expensive jewelry than most people in the game, then that just means that you know how to take care of yourself pretty well. You know how to take care of yourself better than the average individual in the game. And that's cool. That's very cool. That's to be commended. But that's not elevation, though. That is not elevation. Because 9 times out of 10, your mindset didn't elevate to get you to that status. You might just be having a good run, because anybody in the game who's been around long enough knows that we all get a turn. If you be in the game long enough, you gonna get you a turn, man. It's only a matter of time. All you got to do is stay down, and you gonna get a nice run. You gonna get an opportunity. And that's really all it is. When you get a nice run in the game, that's an opportunity to elevate. But if you haven't evolved your way of thinking, then you're not going to elevate. And see, a lot of motherfuckers in the game look good right now. They look good right now. But they haven't learned from the history of the game. See, if you pay attention to the history of the game, when it comes to the pimping, a lot of us look real good when we young and we active, right? When you a young, active pimp and you steadily knocking hoes and you checking dough and all that, you know, a lot of motherfuckers look good. And then with the advent of social media and the smoke and mirrors that can be applied to it, hey man, a whole bunch of motherfuckers look good. But again, if you pay attention to the history of the game, a lot of cats that look good in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, a lot of motherfuckers that look good back then, they don't look good right now, man. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate. It's fucked up, you know? But it's a lot of young pimps that became old pimps that's not doing too good right now. You know what I mean? They're not looking too good right now. And, you know, a lot of motherfuckers get caught up in their ego when shit is, they having it their way. When shit is going their way, right now, in the moment, they get caught up in their ego. And see, that ego is like a blockage. You know what I mean? Like, everything in you is just ready to take off. You just a ball of potential just ready to take off. But that ego is blocking you, though. You know what I mean? That ego is like the Great Wall of China. You know what I mean? You can't get past that motherfucker. You gotta learn how to break that ego down, deteriorate that ego. Then you're gonna have room to really elevate. You know what I mean? And what it's gonna take for you to break that ego down, what it's gonna take for you to deteriorate that ego is to evolve. Evolve mentally. Evolve your outlook on life. It's all gonna start with evolution right here, though. You know what I mean? This is gonna break that ego down. When you evolve right here, you're gonna realize how much of a hindrance that ego is. Right? It's like, man, raise your hand if you've seen Independence Day. back in the day. A lot of y'all young, man. I know a lot of y'all, you know what I mean? Independence Day is older than a lot of you motherfuckers watching right now. But Independence Day was a movie that came out back in the mid-90s. It had Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Vivica Fox, I want to say Renee Russo? It was, I forget who Jeff Goldblum's chick was in the movie. But anyway though, right? With Independence Day, it was some aliens attacking the Earth. You know what I mean? And they had these big, powerful spaceships, man. And they had these force fields around the spaceship that was like impenetrable. You could attack that motherfucker any kind of way, and they, you know, you just couldn't get through that force field, man. You know, they was throwing bombs at that motherfucker. They was shooting at that motherfucker, man. They was throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at these spaceships, man. And they didn't have nothing for them. And meanwhile, while they ain't got nothing for these spaceships, hey, these aliens, man, is just tearing the Earth up. They tearing planet Earth apart. You dig? So Jeff Goldblum, you know what I mean? He was Will Smith's partner in the movie. Jeff Goldblum, he figured out a way to break that force field, right? And then once he figured out the way how to break that force field, it was a wrap after that. You know what I mean? They took the aliens down they took them big old spaceships down with no problem. You know what I mean? So, but that's kind of how the ego works in the game when it comes to this lifestyle that we live. You know what I mean? When we having it our way, you know, that ego is kind of like that force field. You know what I mean? And the evolution comes when we learn how to break that force field down, you know what I mean? And get past that ego and make great things happen in the game. You dig? So, like I say, evolution, man. Evolution is a necessary part of elevation. A lot of motherfuckers talk about elevation in the game, but damn near none of them talk about evolution. I hear everybody always, every day, if you pay attention to social media, if you look at statuses, if you look at stories, if you watch motherfuckers go live, you know what I mean? All they want to talk about is elevation this, elevation that, elevation this, elevation that. And the majority of the motherfuckers, man, ain't really elevated nowhere. You know what I mean? They ain't elevated 2 feet off the ground. You dig? And then at the same time, like I said, while they continuously talking about elevation, they not talking about evolution. And even if they achieve what they perceive to be elevation, when you listen to their conversation, when you see them express their thoughts, it's the same mindset. It's a whole lot of me, my, I language, which is the biggest indicator that a motherfucker ain't evolved or elevated or none of that shit. When they whole language is me, my, I. Yeah, I did this. You know what I mean? This is because of me. You know what I mean? This is mine. When you hear all that type of shit going on in they language, man, it really lets you know that they haven't really elevated anywhere because they haven't evolved. And see, like I've said before, man, when you evolve mentally, when your mindset starts to evolve, it's inevitable. You can't help it. You start to see the world differently. And when you start to see the world differently, you start, you know, if you're evolving, you gonna start to want bigger and better things. The shit that you thought you was doing, you gonna realize that ain't shit. Because you're gonna understand that there's a whole lot more that you can do than just that. Like, damn, I could do this, I could do that. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen when you evolve mentally. And when you evolve, you know what I mean? You're gonna start wanting more shit. And once you start wanting more shit, you're gonna start wanting to do more shit. Then you're gonna start doing more shit. Then you're gonna really elevate. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is when you elevate, you know, you're gonna want to bring people with you. You're gonna want to see other people elevate too. You dig? It's just a beautiful thing, man. When you know you played a role in somebody having something about themselves, and they doing amazing things with that something that they have about themselves, that you played a role in them having, right? Like when, as the pimping, that's one of our delights. When we give hoes game and we see them hoes do amazing shit with that game, it's a beautiful feeling knowing that you empowered somebody to do something with the blessings that they already have. You empowering them and arming them with the game, and they doing great shit with that game, right? It's just a joy. Or, if you a veteran pimp and you bless a younger pimp with some game, and he take that game and he do amazing things with it. He take that game and run with it and make great things happen with it. It's a real joy knowing that you played a part in that type of shit, right? So this can be somebody who ain't even really elevated or evolved or any of that shit. So just imagine when you elevate and you evolve. When you evolve mentally and then you start to elevate as a result of that. And you realize how much more powerful you are. You didn't even know that you was this powerful. You didn't even know that you could make all of this type of shit happen that you know now that you can make happen. You're going to want to bring people with you, man. You're going to want motherfuckers to come with you. You're going to want to share that blessing, because it's a blessing that was bestowed upon you by the Most High. You know what I mean? To evolve mentally and then elevate as a result of that. That's a blessing, man. And when you really blessed, you want to share that blessing. I ain't never been no billionaire, and I can't really, I haven't had any conversations with any billionaires either, but I can only imagine that that's the reason why most extremely wealthy people are some of the biggest philanthropists in the world. Bill Gates, man. Bill Gates and his wife, man, they done donated so much money to so many different causes. The dude who created 5 Hour Energy, he's another wealthy individual who done donated so much money to it's like, I just imagine that their mindset is, I'm so blessed, it's only right for me to bless others because I'm so abundantly blessed. You dig? That's just that's the way I see it. Because it's like, you blessed to a point where it's like you can't even do nothing with all this shit for yourself. Once you get blessed to that point, it's like it's only so much you can do for yourself. You want to start sharing that blessing. You dig? So it's the same thing with this game, man. When I get blessed with certain game, I like sharing it. That's one thing a veteran partner of mine taught me, when I was young in the game, that, that cliche, the game is to be sold and not told. It's not really, I don't subscribe to that. You dig? Because if you know how to apply the game accordingly, you don't have to sell it. But you do want to be responsible with it. You do understand that not everybody is worthy of the game. And then also, if you have the mindset the game is to be sold and not told, you might sell it to a stupid motherfucker, irresponsible motherfucker, somebody who don't deserve that shit. If you could put a price tag on the game and allow anybody to just purchase that shit, you might sell it to a goofball. You know what I mean? When really your mindset should be to be responsible with the game. be responsible with how you impart the game. You dig? And along with imparting the game to the right people, you know what I mean, imparting inspiration with that shit as well, so that the people that you bless with the game are inclined to apply it to the best of their ability because they inspired as well. You did. Let me illuminate this game. Speaking of the game, you did. But yeah, man, if you ain't wiped your feet off at the door, man, when you step into a pimp's domain, please do so right now, man. What I mean by that, go ahead, hit that like button one time, please, and thank you, while I take a small love break. Urban Sobriety, good looking with the $5 holla. Just making sure I wipe my feet. The wisdom you impute is always appreciated. Good looking, Urban Sobriety. Much appreciated. Impulse Travel Adventures, good looking with the $20 holla. You dig? Your music is on Facebook. I just used Glorious Pimp on my FB story. Glory to the game, P. Good looking, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I be forgetting that my music is on all of the social media platforms as well. I know my music is on Instagram. I believe my music is on Snapchat as well. It's probably on TikTok. I don't know. I ain't looked on TikTok to see if my music is on there. But I would imagine that it is. But yeah. Baptism in the ism. As always, good looking with the $20 holla. Blessings, Freeze. Blessings to you as well, bro. Good looking. Tom CA1 says, Freeze, why did you take your personal constitution down? For those of y'all that wasn't here yesterday or been following up, you know, unfortunately, the channel is under attack right now, man. You know, unfortunately, my happiness, my health, and my wealth, you know, it really bothers certain individuals, man. It's like it's nothing that you could do except cease existing and cease living to make certain individuals, you know, leave you alone. And they probably wouldn't even leave me alone if that was to take place. You dig? It's just nothing I could do, man. No matter what I do, certain individuals is just gonna hate. So as a result of that, because certain people just don't like themselves that much, that's really what it is, man. You got certain people that just cannot stand themselves. They can't, they hate every time they inhale, they hate every time they exhale. You ever seen somebody like that, man? They just really hate every breath that they take. They hate every step that they take. They hate everything that they do. They just hate their life. They hate their life so much. They hate when you smile. They hate when you do good things for people. You know what I mean? They hate that you love yourself so much. Oh, they really hate that one. If you somebody that love yourself, man, the people who don't love themselves, they can't stand to see your motherfucking ass, man. Boy, they can't stand it. So for that and many other reasons, man, the channel is under attack right now. So to take safety measures, I had to put all of my content on private, unfortunately. But from the way it looks, currently, I'm going to be able to maintain the channel. So it looks as if we're not going to lose the channel. So in the meantime, you know, the content is going to have to stay on private for right now. And I'll let y'all know when I'm able to make everything available again. But yeah, my personal constitution and a whole lot of other videos that I know y'all appreciate, man. Unfortunately, I had to put everything on private, man. So these people that they can't stand themselves, and they can't stand the constant reminder of how much they hate themselves, which is me. They can't stand to see me, in their algorithms or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they see me in the algorithm and they just, that shit bothers their ass, so they was trying to take me away because of that. But I had to protect the channel, man, so that's why everything is gone right now. But it ain't gone for good, it's just gone temporarily, you did. Little bump in the road, small shit to a giant, peanuts to an elephant, balloons to a blimp, all that good shit, you did. I ain't gonna cry about it. I ain't gonna be mad about it. I just understand that certain people gonna be who they are, and I can't allow people being who they are to influence me to be somebody that I'm not. And like I was talking about yesterday, man, I'm just so obsessed with being big at this point. Somebody that I'm not is a small individual by no means, right? So I can't get small and go back and forth with a small motherfucker to see who could be the smallest and all that old type of shit. And that's what that would be, man. So I'm not gonna get on anybody's level. And then, like I said, I've really truly accepted that certain people are just gonna be who they are, and it's nothing that I can do about it. It's beyond my control. So I'm not gonna get bent out of shape about things that's beyond my control. I'm gonna just keep doing me. And like I said before, man, unfortunately, y'all can't see the video right now because it's one of the many videos on private, but certain people, their sole purpose for being on planet Earth, their sole purpose for waking up every day, their sole purpose for existing, taking in oxygen, releasing carbon monoxide, all that type of shit, you know what I mean? Their whole reason for existing is to distract a great motherfucker from being great. That's some people's sole purpose in life. That's the only reason why they are alive, is to distract a great motherfucker from being great. You know what I mean? Some of y'all, man, I know y'all going through it just like me. You dig, in your own way, in your own life, and whatever you got going on, whether you a square, whether you a hustler, whether you a pimp or a hoe, whether you whatever you might have going on, man. Whether you a spiritual individual, whatever you got going on, man. There is somebody, if you are great at what you do, or you just a great individual, period. You just a great person that people love to see coming, that bring joy to people, bring smiles to people's faces when they see you coming. If you are one of them types of individuals, man, there is somebody assigned to you. You know what I mean? There's a hater assigned to you, at least one. You might have a few, but it's at least one individual assigned to you, and their whole assignment is to distract you from being great. And the way that they distract you from being great is by inviting you to join them in their misery. Because as we know, misery love company. You know what I mean? So they inviting you to join them in their misery. And they just constantly shooting invites at you. Every time they say some hater shit, every time they do some hater shit, it's an invite. It's an invitation to join them in their misery. And you just got to do the Neo. You just got to do the Matrix. You know what I mean? They steadily shooting them invites at you, and you just, you know what I mean? That invites is just coming your way, and you just doing the Matrix on their motherfucking ass. You know what I mean? You got to dodge them motherfuckers. You did. You got to do the Barry Sanders. You know what I mean? On all of them distractions that them haters and miserable people who don't like themselves is throwing at you. You dig? So yeah, man, Don't let these people that can't stand themselves, man. Don't let them distract you from being great. You dig? I'm doing my best to show you how that goes, man. I'm doing my best to be the best example to you of how to not allow a motherfucker to distract you from being great. Yeah, because they stay throwing distractions at me. That's why I cut their power off in a lot of ways by leaving Instagram alone right now. You know what I mean? Because the haters, they stay throwing invites at me to join them in their misery when I'm on Instagram. I know they doing it like crazy right now. I know it's going on, but I'm not even there to see it. You know what I mean? My mailbox probably flooded with invites of the misery. You know what I mean? Every notification, every like, every comment, you know, every DM message, every tag, you know, all of that shit is invites from certain individuals, man, for me to join them in their misery. So I just cut all of that off, man. You know, because one thing about when you understand that you have a certain greatness about yourself, when you've been blessed in certain ways, man, you understand that not everybody deserves access to you, man. You know, and I just know that I'm one of them type of individuals, man, that got a purpose, man, and I'm on a mission. You dig? And I don't need no distractions, man. So certain individuals don't even deserve access to a pimp. You know, they really don't. So all of them motherfuckers is saying all that shit on Instagram, they can't even access a pimp right now. They can't even access me. If they want to even think about imagining possibly accessing me, they got to come to my world. You know what I mean? My world is YouTube right now. You know, and they don't have no power on YouTube. See, anybody could get on Instagram, you know, and be heard and be considered and all of that type of shit, man. Hey, but in this YouTube world, man, yeah, pimp rule over in this motherfucker, man. And you ain't got no access to a pimp. Them little darts that you be throwing on Instagram, you know what I mean? No access to a pimp. You dig? And like I said, these individuals, their whole purpose for being alive is to distract me from being great. So one way that I minimize their power is by, you know what I mean, denying access to them as much as I can. Or denying them access to me as much as I can. You dig? So yeah, man. Yeah, they got to reach me over here. And most of the motherfuckers, they can't even reach me over here. You dig? I got mods in here, man, that's going to snipe their ass down as soon as they come in here and try to see. Instagram ain't like that. On Instagram, you can get on there when you see a pimp live and you can say a bunch of sucker ass shit and, you know, it's on the pimping to delete all that shit and block a motherfucker and all. Hey, but I got an army of mods over here, man. It's gonna take y'all out immediately. You know what I mean? As soon as you say some sucker ass shit over here, you know, this is my world. You know what I mean? This is my world over here. You know, everybody can't, you know, you ain't big and bad over here like you is on Instagram or Facebook or any of that other shit. You know what I mean? I don't even really fuck with Facebook like that. You know? Right, Death Row. Death Row is in the house. You dig? We got Death Row security over here, man. So, yeah, man, you know, but I had to arrange things that way to minimize the distractions, man, because it's just like raise your hand if you seen Set It Off. You know what I mean? With Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett, Vivica Fox. I forget the other girl's name, man. Yeah, man, but on Set It Off, right? You had Jada Pinkett's little brother. You know what I mean? He was just making it out of high school. He had everything going for him. You know what I mean? And then the homie or whoever that was invited him to the hood. You know what I mean? To the little party or whatever. And he ended up losing his life. You know what I mean? Or just like on Minister Society, same type of thing. You know, it's so many movies like that, man. As I just think about it, man. You know, on Minister Society, Kane just graduated high school. You know what I mean? About to leave the hood, go to Atlanta, start a new life. Young, got everything going for him. You know what I mean? But the hood ended up claiming his life. You dig? Carlito's Way, same type of scenario. You know what I mean? With Al Pacino, Carlito's Way. You know what I mean? Carlitos, he trying to leave the streets alone. He got his girl pregnant. You know what I mean? He trying to move on with his life. You know, the streets end up claiming him. Benny Blanco from the Bronx, you know what I mean, ended up taking him out. You dig? It's just so many situations like that, man, where you have somebody with a whole lot of potential to do great things, and when they trying to climb up, when they trying to elevate and put space between them and they past life, or space between them and whatever level, you know, they was on before, you know, it's gonna be individuals, it's gonna be people, it's gonna be things, it's gonna be all kind of shit, you know, trying to take them out. You dig? Or just like with Jesus, you know what I mean? In his hometown, as he let you know in the scriptures, man, like in his hometown, they was like, oh man, that Jesus, Nazareth, oh man, oh right, oh look, that's little Jesus, man. Oh, he performing miracles and all. Oh man, that's little Jesus, man. He ain't doing nothing, man. That's little Jesus. You know what I mean? Little Jesus that was in the manger that one time. You know what I mean? His mama Mary, they stay over there down the street over there by Miss Johnson them. Oh man, that's little Jesus, man. You know, certain people just don't want to see you become great. Certain people don't want to see you be greater than them. You dig? But you got to make arrangements, man, sometimes to separate yourself. You know? Like sometimes you got to make arrangements to set yourself up in such a way that, you know, the little motherfuckers that don't want to see you grow, they don't have no power to get in your way and distract you and stop you and all that type of shit. You know? But yeah, man, you know, and see, that all goes back to the evolution that comes before the elevation. You know, some people, man, they just not gonna evolve mentally. Some people gonna stay who they are, and you know, you could probably be cool with them from a distance. Certain individuals you can't be cool with at all. A lot of people you're gonna have to be cool with from a distance, man, because they ain't gonna be able to evolve right here. Or they might not evolve at the same time that you evolve. They might not evolve at the same to the same level of intensity that you evolve. You dig? They might evolve slightly, but you might evolve a whole lot more, you know what I mean, in a shorter time frame than them. You dig? They're not gonna evolve when you do, how you do, where you do, so on and so forth, right? But, you know, that don't mean that they don't want to see you evolve. And if that's the case, then, you know, you might just have to be cool with them from a distance, man. But, you know, you're going to have a whole lot of motherfuckers that just, they ain't going to evolve, man. You know, you got certain pimps right now. They got certain visions, certain aspirations, certain goals, certain dreams, and they have evolved, right? But within their mental evolution, they got these chicks, or a chick, or some chicks, or whatever the case may be, that aren't ready to evolve with them, right? And sometimes they might serve as a hindrance. Sometimes they might serve as, like, I hate to say it like that, but like dead weight. and they don't want to see you evolve. They don't want to see you grow, because you got some chicks that think if you evolve and you grow, it means that you're going to leave them behind. And it's like, no, you can evolve and grow with me. And you can become more powerful just like I'm going to become more powerful. But some of them, they just can't see that, man. Some of them, they just, if they see you, if they can see evolution and elevation down the street, and they see you about to meet that motherfucker at the corner, they're like, oh, hell no, I know this nigga is not finna. Is that evolution and elevation? They down the street waiting for him? Oh, they thought his hoes wasn't gonna see him meeting up with him, huh? Okay, I got something for they motherfucking ass. I'm about to fuck their whole world up. You got certain bitches like that, you know what I mean? And then, on the flip side of that token, it rarely happens that way. But you have rare instances where you have hoes this fucking with a pimp that might evolve mentally and therefore are ready to elevate to a certain point. But the folks that they fucking with, the folks they representing and paying and sacrificing for every day, that individual ain't ready to elevate because that individual hasn't evolved mentally, right? And it sometimes it could be a situation where, that individual might try to sabotage the hoeing, and make sure she don't elevate. And he might see that she done evolved in a way that he hasn't. And, he might try to hold her back one way or another. You dig? But again, sometimes you got to make certain arrangements in your life, man, to where if you see that somebody is they not for the solution, so they for the problem. Sometimes it might be painful, man. Sometimes it might be uncomfortable, but sometimes you just got to leave certain individuals behind. If they not ready to come with you, they not ready to get on the bus, you dig? You might have to leave them behind, man. It don't mean that you don't wish them the best, that you don't want to see better for them or anything like that. But sometimes those individuals could turn into haters. You know what I mean? Sinful made a video. He got a couple of videos campaigning with the enemy, and then I can't remember if it's pimping on the enemy. I think it is pimping on the enemy. You dig? But sometimes that enemy inside a motherfucker can be brought out when they see that you done evolved mentally. You dig? To the point where you might be campaigning with the enemy because they become an enemy when they see that you getting ready to evolve. That's really probably why certain individuals go so hard against Sinful. And when them videos and shit, all the bullshit came out on Sinful, that could be why certain individuals went so hard against him. Individuals that at one point in time, pretended like they was in his corner, pretended like they was on his side, pretended like they was his friend and his partner. Maybe that's why they went so hard against him when they thought something had came out that was gonna stop him, that was gonna take him down. You dig? Because maybe they seen some sort of evolution that was inevitable evolution. They seen it coming, and they didn't. They probably maybe they seen that they was gonna get separated. Maybe they seen that Sinful was at some point in time, he was gonna create some distance between himself and them. So maybe they thought they was gonna get something out of hating. You dig? But as you can see, man, that shit ain't did nothing but help Sin. If anything, it ain't hurting. All that shit As we know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I say that shit didn't do nothing but make them stronger, man. You dig? Same thing with me. I know all the bullshit that they say about me and try to do towards me. That shit don't do nothing but make me stronger. You dig? So same type of shit. You know, when certain things come out about me, maybe that's why certain individuals turn their back on me, because they see the evolution coming and they see that, you know, Free's gonna end up creating some distance between himself and them, and they don't want to see that. So, you know, maybe if I join the hater wagon, maybe I could play a part in stopping Freeze. Can't do it, man. You can't do it, especially like I say all the time, man. See, what's sinful, what people don't understand is that he serves a purpose bigger than himself. You know, and the individuals that hate on him, they don't serve a purpose bigger than, well, they do serve a purpose bigger than themselves, but they don't even understand that they do. You know, they have selfish intentions. You know, they really serving the devil. They really doing the devil's work. You know what I mean? They really a vessel for the devil, but they don't understand it that way. They whole intentions behind what they do is selfish. You know, all the slandering and all that type of shit, it's not to create awareness. It's not to help anybody. It's not to save anybody or any shit like that. No, it's just pure jealousy. It's pure hatred. It's pure, why not me? It's pure, fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? It's pure, like, that's supposed to be me with all of that. You know what I mean? That's what it is, man. And, you know, that's, you can't, nothing, something like that, something as small as jealousy and envy and all that type of shit, you can't put that against something, an individual that's serving a purpose bigger than they self. And the jealousy and the hatred and the envy is going to win. Can't do that. It's never going to win. It's never going to prosper. You know? So, but yeah, man, you know, all that hater shit and all that sucker shit that goes on, man, them people don't even understand that, you know, it's all energy. And you ain't doing nothing but throwing some energy at a motherfucker, that the motherfucker who you throwing it at, they gonna transform that energy from negative to positive, you dig, and just get bigger and better with it. You know? It's like that movie, The Blob. You know what I mean? The Blob, that motherfucker was going around eating people, and every time that motherfucker ate somebody, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Every time it ate motherfuckers, the Blob just, you know, that motherfucker start out small, then it just take people down, and the more people the Blob take down, it just get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how this game work, man. You know, when motherfuckers try to attack the pimpin', they throwing negative energy at the pimpin' just get bigger and bigger, and it turns into positive energy. And the motherfucker just gets stronger and bigger and more powerful and more influential and all that old type of shit. Yeah, so keep hating on me, man. Keep talking about me. You know, keep slandering me. You dig? Keep throwing shit in the air that you hope materialize into something. You know, like them little weak-ass allegations that motherfuckers be throwing at a pimp. Yeah. Motherfuckers really sit back. You know, it's crazy. Hey, you know, that shit really do something to me. It really lets me know, like, damn, I knew I was blessed. I knew I was given, you know, certain powers and certain abilities, but damn, I didn't know that I could move a motherfucker like that. I didn't know that I can influence somebody that I've never even met to be so hateful that they would do shit like that. That they'll sit back in their mind and be like, you know what? How do I want to see Freeze get arrested? Oh, man, that'd be dope if Freeze went to jail for murdering a 16-year-old. Man, that'd be cold in a motherfucker. let me put that shit together on social media and see if it really happened. Because if I put it together the right way, it might really happen. Even though I know Freeze didn't do it. But man, that'd be dope if Freeze got arrested for that shit. Man, that'd be cold. Let me put that shit together and then put it out there, man, and see, see what happens when I do that shit. You know what I mean? Oh man, Sinful, he ain't, damn, man. How do I want to see Sinful get arrested? Oh man, it'll be cold if Sinful got deported. Man, if Sin really got deported, like if they came and busted his door in and snatched him out of there and kicked him out the country, you know what I mean? Man, that'd be dope. Let me put that shit together myself, man, and see if I can make that shit really happen, man. Man, let me see if I could do that. That'd be dope as fuck if I put some shit out there and because of what I put out there, it really happens in real life. Oh, man. That'd be so cold to know that my hating ass, my can't stand myself ass made that shit happen. Man, I'm gonna do that shit for real. Let me get started now. You know what I mean? Let me put it together now, man. Hold on, man. Let me put it together now. That's what these motherfuckers be doing. And it's like, man, that shit crazy. To know that you moved a motherfucker like that you ain't never met, you ain't never had a conversation with this motherfucker, you ain't never been around this motherfucker, you ain't never even you ain't never had a bitch that they had before, they ain't never had a bitch that you had before, like, y'all don't have no type of connection whatsoever. Y'all never had no type of dealings with each other whatsoever. But you have moved this individual to the point where they really want to see you, like, they really want to do everything in their power to knock you down. That don't do nothing but fuel me. That don't do nothing but put things better that much more in perspective for me. You dig? So I'm going to just keep on serving as a reminder to you of why you hate yourself so much. That's all that's gonna do to a motherfucker like me. So, hey man, I appreciate them type of things, man. I appreciate them type of movements, man, because it puts things that much more in perspective for me. It really lets me know that, like, damn, I can make a lot of shit happen. I really have some things about myself that I can move mountains with. Man, and this power that I have in me that move this individual in that way, I could use that same power to move masses in a positive way. If I can make this motherfucker be so hateful to where they want to do that shit to me, then that lets me know that there's a whole lot of other people, way more people, you know what I mean, that I can influence in a positive way to do something just as powerful, but in a positive way, to be a blessing to other people. You dig? So, man, like I say, as ugly as it may seem at times, and how innocent people get used and things like that, as fucked up and twisted as it may be, ultimately it's going to serve as a blessing. The slander, the lies, the allegations, the efforts to, take a motherfucker down with the law, the efforts to weaponize the police against a motherfucker and all that type of shit. Hey, it ain't going to do nothing but serve as a blessing ultimately. You did? Like I said, I appreciate it because it helps put things that much more in perspective with me, and it lets me know what I'm capable of that much more. So let me do that much more what I'm capable of. Damn, I'm capable of that. Let me do that. Damn, I can do that. Let me do that. I need to do more of that. I need to be better at doing that. You dig? The Renaissance, good looking with the $10 holler. Keep popping some pimping, P. Indeed, man. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain, please do so now, man. What I mean by that, hit that like button one time for a pimp, please, and thank you. Right, Sepulveda the Prince, you remember that video Sinful put out, Pimping on the Enemy? Yeah, you got pimping on the enemy, and then you got campaigning with the enemy. Mr. O and the Ozone Podcast, sipping on that love, I see. You know I got to keep the love on deck, man. Hey, if you ever see a motherfucker that look like me, that call itself Freeze, that sound like me, that even talk like me, behave like me, all of that, right? And he do a video, and you don't see this shit in the video, man, that's not me, man. That's a clone. That's a clone, man. They done went and cloned Freeze. If you ever see a motherfucker do a video and he don't have this shit up in there, man, hey, that's a clone, man. He ain't putting love in his body. He might look like me. He might sound like me. He might act like me. Man, that ain't me, man. That ain't me. Freeze gonna keep some love on deck, man. You is not gonna see no type of content where this shit ain't up in there, man. That's my ID. Both classics. Yeah, man. Both of them videos are classics. You dig? Robin say the fact that they care enough lose sleep to keep up with you. Yeah, you know, Robin, I appreciate that type of shit, though. You know what I mean? It lets me know that much more that hey, man, I'm a powerful motherfucker. I didn't know I was that powerful. Sometimes it's scary to know that you that powerful, though. It's kind of scary to know that you can move motherfuckers like that. You dig? Because people that hate themselves, man, they always gonna be reminded wherever they go, wherever they do. You know, if they go to the gym, they gonna see a motherfucker that might not be famous, that might not be rich or any of that, but they gonna see a motherfucker with a body that reminds them of how much they hate their body. You dig? But they might not go like too far out of their way to hurt that individual in any kind of way because, like I said, they might not be rich and famous or nothing like that. They just see that motherfucker be like, so punk ass nigga, man, with all these muscles and shit, man. So tall ass nigga, man. God made me short and shit. I'm 5'5". This motherfucker over here is 6'5". Motherfucker a whole foot taller than me. Punk ass nigga. You know what I mean? But he might not do nothing to that individual, though. You dig? He just hate him when he see him. Because that motherfucker reminds him of how much he hate himself. You dig? Or, you know, when you go to the barber shop, you know, it might be a cool ass barber up there. You know what I mean? Whenever the ladies come through there, you know what I mean? They always flirting with this barber. You know what I mean? He just got away with the ladies. He just a charismatic motherfucker. He funny. You know what I mean? When you go to the barber shop, he gonna have everybody in that motherfucker laughing. You know what I mean? He got charisma about himself. He just got certain magnetism about himself. You know, he ain't nothing but a barber though, but you hate that motherfucker though. So nigga, man, you know what I mean? Got all the bitches smiling and complimenting. Now why they don't do that with me? You know what I mean? Every time females come up in here, they like, hey Calvin, you know what I mean? I see you, Calvin. You looking good today, Calvin. Oh, Calvin, you so stupid. You know what I mean? Man, fuck Calvin, punk ass nigga. You know what I mean? He ain't funnier than me. You know what I mean? He ain't got nothing to say to the ladies better than me. You know what I mean? I got a way better mouthpiece than Calvin, man. Fuck that nigga, man. You know what I mean? He think he cool because he the best barber in the shop, and you know what I mean? Everybody want to come to him, you know what I mean? Because he know how to put the designs in the back of everybody's head and shit like that. You know what I mean? And he put the Cincinnati Bengals on the back of little John head last week, and that shit was on TikTok and it went viral and shit. So now everybody think Calvin and shit, man. Fuck that nigga, man. That's how these niggas be, man. You know, but he might not want to do nothing to Calvin because Calvin just a barber, you know what I mean? And Calvin ain't rich and famous or nothing like that. He just a cool ass nigga, you know what I mean? But when you somebody on YouTube, right? And y'all already know, man, like in the grand scheme of things, I'm small. Like in the YouTube world, I am a small fry. Like I only got 28,000, you know what I mean, subscribers. I'm almost, it's almost 29,000 of us at this point, man. You know, and I value that and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I appreciate each and every last one of y'all, and I value y'all, man, for real. But I know that there's other people in the YouTube world that are way bigger than me in the YouTube world, way more powerful than me in the YouTube world, got way more going on than me in the YouTube world. But what I be having to remind myself of is that in the community of pimps and hoes, it's not very many of us. You know what I mean? You got me, you got Sinful, you got some other individuals too, but like it ain't really nobody quite like Sinful and myself as far as how we go about it. You know what I mean? You know, so in this world of pimping and hoeing, you know, motherfuckers see us like we got millions of subscribers. You dig? And you got certain individuals that really want that. You got certain individuals that y'all stupid. Robin, I ain't fucking with you, man. Stop that bullshit. Hey, man, pimp being big right now. You know what I mean? I ain't entertaining no small shit. But yeah, man, you know, you got certain individuals that they see us and they magnify us to a certain point, and you know what I mean? They really can't stand that. You know? And you got people like Sinful and myself. You know why I think they really can't stand it? Is because you got certain people that are so dedicated and they go so hard to be big on YouTube. You got certain people that really try hard as a motherfucker and they don't really get nowhere. Or if they do have a stitch of progress, it's very slow. And it's and at the same time, it's not organic. You dig? And they putting a whole lot of effort into it, and they not getting the return on those efforts like they want, right? Meanwhile, you have people like myself and Sinful, you know, who can go months without posting anything on YouTube and kind of get on here whenever we feel like it type shit. And, you know, people gravitate towards it. And people subscribe to it at a rate that other people just, you know, like if we had the same type of effort that they have, we'd be on the moon with it probably. You dig? But, and I'm not even as big, I'm not even half as big as Sinful is on YouTube. You dig? But even still with me, again, in the world of pimps and hoes, it's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in the game with YouTube channels that y'all ain't gonna never hear of. Y'all ain't gonna never hear about the motherfuckers, man. You dig? And they hate that. They jealous of that. You know what I mean? But, hey, man, you got, when people see that, it just moves them to hate. You dig? So, unlike that nigga at the gym with a body that's better than the motherfucker who can't stand himself, or unlike Calvin the barber at the barber shop you know what I mean, who reminds certain individuals of how much they hate themselves. Hey, Freeze, man, and especially Sinful, oh man, severe reminders to motherfuckers of how much they hate themselves. I'm talking about like vivid reminders. And then speaking of like barbershops, like Sinful is to the point where you might hear motherfuckers at the barbershop talking about Sinful. You know what I mean? Or you might ride the blade and you hear a certain individual playing a video loud as a motherfucker of Sinful, popping, pimping. You know what I mean? Or, you know, hey, a pimp might have an interview with a bitch, you know what I mean? And he might pull up to the bitch in car and he go walk in to go break this bitch or do whatever, and she in there in the mirror getting ready, and she listening to Sinful talking shit while she in there doing her makeup and her hair and shit. You know what I mean? She in the mirror doing her shit, you know what I mean? Trying to get an outstanding understanding of you know, of Sinful. You know what I mean? She's trying to stay involved so she can evolve with this game on Sinful's channel. You know what I mean? She tuned in with all this shit. You know what I mean? You know, and